Good evening and welcome to the NewsHour agenda, and wish all our viewers a very happy Independence Day. Viewers, the debate on Uniform Civil Code is back in focus after Prime Minister's address to the nation from the Red Fort. Addressing the nation on Independence Day and laying out the vision ahead, the Prime Minister made a pitch for Uniform Civil Code, saying the current Civil Code is communal and advocated for a secular alternative, saying that a secular Civil Code is the need of the hour.
देश का एक बहुत बड़ा वर्ग मानता है और उसमें सच्चाई भी है कि जिस सिविल कोड को हम लेकर के जी रहे हैं वो सिविल कोड सचमुच में तो एक प्रकार का कम्युनल सिविल कोड है, भेदभाव करने वाला सिविल कोड है। ऐसे सिविल कोड से जब संविधान के 75 वर्ष मना रहे हैं और संविधान की भावना भी जो हमें कहती है करने के लिए, देश की सुप्रीम कोर्ट भी हमें कहती है करने के लिए, और तब जो संविधान निर्माताओं का सपना था उस सपने को पूरा करना हम सबका दायित्व है। और मैं मानता हूं इस गंभीर विषय पर देश में चर्चा हो, व्यापक चर्चा हो, हर कोई अपने विचारों को लेकर के आए और उन कानूनों को जो कानून धर्म के आधार पर देश को बांटते हैं, जो ऊंच नीच का कारण बन जाते हैं, ऐसे कानूनों को आधुनिक समाज में कोई स्थान नहीं हो सकता है। और इसलिए मैं तो कहूंगा अब समय की मांग है कि देश में एक सेकुलर सिविल कोड हो।
Remember, Uniform Civil Code has been in the agenda of the government for long. The law panel had asked for suggestions from public and received an overwhelming response in August last year. While some argue that it provides equal status to all citizens and gender parity, there's also arguments that implementation of UCC would be impractical due to the diverse population in the country. While the Prime Minister called for reforms and said that wide-ranging discussions on it are the need of the hour, oppositions claim that it was a bid to polarize. Opposition leaders have claimed that Prime Minister's pitch will be halted by a strong opposition.
These are hot air balloons being floated to somehow distract people, to somehow polarize people.
Whatever Prime Minister spoke today at Red Fort was nothing but in order to explain their divisive, disastrous, sinister agenda.
सेकुलर नाम से चिढ़ने वाला राजनीतिक दल भाजपा है। समाजवाद के नाम से चिढ़ने वाला कोई दल अगर है तो भाजपा है।
एक तो सेकुलर सिविल कोड की बात वो लोग करते हैं जिन्होंने अपने 10 साल के कार्यकाल में सिवाय मुसलमानों को हिट करने की कुछ नहीं किया। शादी, तलाक और निकाह, इन 3 चीजों में संविधान ने मुझे इजाजत दी है कि मैं अपने लॉ के हिसाब से उस पर अमल कर सकता हूं। तो ये क्यों इस पर तुले हुए हैं कि भाई इन तीनों को खत्म करना चाहिए।
You're watching the NewsHour at 10, debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
And for more on this, let's go right across to our guest. Joining us, Tuin Sena's national spokesperson of the BJP. With us is Abhijit Iyer Mitra, who's a senior fellow at the IPCS. Tehseen Poonawala, political analyst, is with us. Also joining us is Tariq Khan, spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party. Let me start with you. Tehseen Poonawala, on the face of it, when the Prime Minister says that there should be a uniform civil code, we all know it's part of our constitution, it's part of the directive principles of state policy, and in that sense, is there really something for the opposition to object when the Prime Minister talks about the desirability of a new civil code?
Madhav, at the onset, let me wish you, your family members, the Times Now family, Times Now viewers, and all my fellow panelists a very, very happy Independence Day. Our constitution, of course, you're right, in directive principles speaks about the UCC, but also the fundamental right to preserve your culture and religious practices is a fundamental right, not a directive principle. But I'm not going to get into that debate. I am one for UCC. Now let me throw the challenge to the BJP. Blending in the UCC, but what is the UCC that they talk about? If it is about only marriage, divorce and inheritance, UCC already exists in India. From Jammu and Kashmir to Kanyakumari, from Gujarat to Nagaland, there is one law, which is the Special Marriage Act. Anyone can get married in it. All the provisions that they talk about are there. A Hindu Muslim can get married, a Muslim can get married, a Hindu can get married, Christian Muslim can get married. But if they're talking about another law now like the UCC, does the BJP spokesperson specifically promise the following? In Goa, an adult male above the age of 30, if he does not have a male child, he's allowed to have a second wife. Will that go? In Gujarat, there is something called a Maitri Karar, where a Hindu male can have a girlfriend officially. Will that go? Will matriarchal tribes, say in south of India or east of India, where inheritance goes to the second daughter or goes to another daughter, will that go? What are they talking about? What is this UCC? Or will this UCC be like the Uttarakhand, where the police has got into your bedroom, into who's living in with whom? Is that what UCC will be about? They have no idea what UCC is. Even in Uttarakhand, where they tried to bring in a UCC, which is not a UCC, they kept tribals out. Is the BJP spokesperson on Independence Day promising us even tribals will be brought into it? Ask these questions and they'll run away with their tails between their legs. They only want to polarize.
Let's let Tuhin Sinha come in on that. Tuhin Sinha, a number of lacunae that are being pointed out by Tehseen Poonawala. He's starting, of course, with Uttarakhand, referring to Gujarat and several other provisions that are there for particular communities in different states. And if this is indeed the Uttarakhand model that's going to be followed, why leave out, for instance, tribals from the UCC? Is it then a true UCC is a question that he's asking? Tuhin.
Madhav, a very happy Independence Day to you, to all my co-panelists and to all the viewers. You know, the UCC has been mandated by Article 44 of the Constitution. It is high time that, you know, when we should ideally not need to have a special marriage act. Fact is that gender equality gets trampled when you have a UCC. There were two opportunities we have already missed. The first was in 1955 when the Hindu Marriage Act was selectively, employed and selectively executed for one community while the other community was left out. And in 1986, Rajiv Gandhi had a golden opportunity to not intervene in the Shah Bano case, but by reverting that decision, he took the community many years back. The fact is, UCC has only got to do with gender equality in a true sense. Why should, a progressive society have the scope for polygamy in the first place? It leads to a dysfunctional society, and I think, as we it surely is a complicated issue. Tribals, for now, have been left out of it in certain places. But the fact, and that is also one of the reasons why the states have taken the lead.
Tariq Khan, if one of the aspects, at least, that those who advocate for UCC are talking about is gender equality. Can there be any logic for polygamy in an equal society if rights of men and women are equal, if inheritance laws are to be made equal? There is, of course, the concept of nikah halala. All of these, the critics of the current situation say that this is why the Prime Minister has also referred to it as being communal. Why not the same laws that apply to all citizens equally? Tariq Khan.
Listen, UCC is something which is very directly correlated with the society and the religion. So we all believe, means my party believe, that there should be a consensus across the affecting parties or the affecting societies. Now, question arises here that whether the government has tried even a single bit to create any type of consensus amongst the different type of societies of India. No. There is no step by the government to take any decisions that what could be done, what should have been done. Each and every society is going to be affected, including Hindus.
What was the Law Commission consultation, Mr. Tariq Khan?
What will happen to the Hindu undivided family?
Mr. Tariq Khan, simple question. Mr. Tariq Khan, 1 second, Mr. Tariq Khan, just listen to my question. I'm saying we know that the Law Commission of India was seized of this matter. They had wide-ranging consultations, and on at least 2 occasions, they have in fact done this consultation process. Is that not a consensus-building measure?
No, I know that they have taken consensus, but it should be done in a more detailed way. That's what we believe, because we live in a country which is so diversified. If you travel even 20, 40, 50, 100 kilometers, lots of changes are there. There are states, there are tribes, there are Muslims, there are Christians, and just a person who is just speaking before me, he told that there would be lots of problems. So we suggest that to just call the affecting peoples and the responsible of the affected people and there should be a broad consensus on the topic. Like
no, so
UCC,
what are you saying? Because what you're saying, Mr. Tariq Khan, once again, I'm just seeking a clarification from you, because what you're saying is diametrically opposite to what Tehseen just said. Tehseen said, why leave out tribals? You're saying consult all of them, and the question then will be that which all sections of society will you exempt from it? And then will it still be a UCC? Will it still be a uniform civil code if you're going to give exemptions to different classes of society?
Listen, I'm not saying this that there should be consensus. If you want to have UCC, you should ask the people who are going to affect it that what type of effect they will have and how they're responding on that. Because this is something related to the cultures which has been practicing since last years, 100 years, 200 years, 500 years. Like in Northeast, there has been lots of tradition which has been practiced from here. So you have to ask that what effect do you have? I cannot talk on the basis of, on behalf of the tribals, on behalf of the people who are living on Northeast.
Okay.
So you have to talk to them.
Sir, you are saying there are concerns, the exact solution even you are not offering, but let me put that question across to Abhijit Iyer Mitra. And Abhijit Iyer Mitra, in a sense, what he's saying is that there are different social groups. This is going to be far from easy to implement. And it's in fact the same government's Law Commission in 2018, when it earlier had a consultative process that said that UCC is neither feasible or desirable. So the challenge is huge. While it might be a laudable ideal, implementing is going to be a huge headache in India.
Nobody's denying it's a headache, Madhav. The issue is just because it's a headache, you don't do it. You know, abrogating Article 370 was also a massive headache, but it was ultimately done. You know, this is a thing like saying that because it's tough, you shouldn't do it. Number one. Number two, remember, this has now become a court-mandated process. If you remember during the marriage equality hearing for same-sex marriages, the government's argument wasn't one of morality. What it said was there is a complex web of laws which are antiquated, which need very serious updating, within which we can then give equality. Why? Because the Supreme Court said you have to give marriage equality. So this process of simplifying the web of laws has been ordered by the Supreme Court itself. It has a monitoring committee. The government has taken it upon itself to report to that committee in a time-bound manner. And therefore, it now becomes very easy once that simplification process is done to have a uniform civil code. Now, let's look at the uniform civil code, Madhav. You know, every single OECD country has a uniform civil code. The one exception is Israel. Israel is the one country that the Samajwadi Party claims is an apartheid state that is going around denying inter-religious marriages, whatnot, killing Palestinians, so on and so forth. Now, they want us to be like Israel. They keep telling us, try not to be like Israel, cut off your links with Israel, etc. Here they are actually saying, be like Israel, don't be like the rest of the OECD and other developed countries. Have you ever seen such a convoluted argument in your life? A, that it's tough. To be like Israel. I find it amazing that, you know, we are actually told that each community has, see, different communities having different civil laws actually means a reduction in the status of several groups within a same society. So, for example, a Muslim woman does not have the same claim on property and rights that a Hindu woman does, or anybody getting married under the Special Marriage Act. Right. So are you actually saying a Muslim woman is a lesser, the child of a lesser god in India than a Hindu woman or a woman who gets married under the Special Marriage Act? How can you have a country like this where women or different social groups or different dependents are treated differently? Adoption laws are different. Adoption property laws are different. How can you have all of this?
Right. Adoption, marriage, property, these are all the personal laws where this will have a huge impact. And Tehseen, ultimately, here's the paradox which the Prime Minister's statement today has thrown in terms of a challenge to the opposition, because the Prime Minister has just said that let's have a secular law. So those parties that ideologically talk about secularism and the desirability of it, why would they have problem with such a law which is equal to all religions?
Because the Prime Minister is only talking, he's not going to act upon this. And like the Waqf bill, this is not going to get passed. Let me explain to you. Abhijit is absolutely right on the Special Marriage Act. So that secular law already exists. Even our tribal fellow citizens under the Special Marriage Act, it's exactly the same. So scrap off all other laws. You only need three things: marriage, divorce and inheritance. It's covered in Special Marriage Act. That nobody's answering. Now you saw the BJP spokesperson scampered away and didn't answer. The questions are specific. Maitri Karar, no answer. Undivided tax to the Hindu family, no answer. 80% of our Hindu fellow citizens, the families, get the undivided tax break. Are you going to withdraw it? No answer on that. Goa, no answer on that. Their chief minister spoken to Times now, Pramod Sawant, saying this law does not need to be withdrawn. Uttarakhand, no answer on it. They are in alliance in Northeast, no answer on it. So they have no answers. Why are they doing this?
They will
say
it's wonderful
halala,
to see you agree with Abhijit on every point that he's raised. But the question is this, for the Congress party and opposition parties, will it be easy to convince all the allies? Will all the allies be on board? That's going to be the big challenge, isn't it?
Throw the... If there's a political analyst, you ask me, throw the challenge to the Prime Minister, tell him bring the law. Tell him. And explain first, the Prime Minister or Amit Shah ji should come on your show, Madhav, and explain what is UCC. Answer tough questions from you.
It's okay.
Don't get in exceptions.
Yeah.
Don't run away from the Gujarat, Goa and other questions.
He's talked about the desirability of a secular law. The question is whether opposition will all be on the same page on it. But I want to throw the same question to Tuhin. Tuhin, how easy or difficult will it be for the government to also implement or push this? Because even your own allies, for instance, the JDU, have talked about the need for more consultation. They should be taken into confidence. It isn't going to be easy for the government either, particularly given the current numbers.
What is this? You know, Madhav, what is this argument that, you know, it's going to be complex, it's going to be tough for the government? Only a competent, only a competent government can take up tough decisions, which we are taking.
No, are your allies together? That's my question. Toughness is a question that was answered earlier. Are your allies on the same page?
See the Waqf Act getting passed. Similarly, this is something we are committed to. The strategy over here could be different. The state governments could be taking the lead over here, like Uttarakhand and Goa state governments have done. More state governments will come forward, because at the end of the day, you know, if you don't subscribe to what Ambedkar had said, no society can exist without reforms, and reforms are impossible without uniform civil code. Abhijit Iyer has very clearly explained that why should a society, why should a community have different succession norms? Because at the end of the day, they lead to inequality. They lead to a dysfunctional society in the long run.
And in fact, Tariq Khan, let me ask you that, because it's not just B.R. Ambedkar, K.M. Munshi, several of our founding fathers who debated this extensively in the Constituent Assembly. And the larger question is this, that will we ever be able to develop a consensus on this? Because to develop that particular consensus, opposition also has to be on the same page.
You know, when a Hindu Code Bill come in existence, and which says Hindu Code Bill and other bills which are related to Hindu rights, and that said that women will get equal right in property, and they will also get the right to marriage to their choice. Who are the one who opposes that? You know, who are the one? They were RSS. They went across the line, across the country to oppose that decision. So we all know that RSS stands with BJP all the time. So that was the stand they had. Now they are just saying that they will fight for the right of the women or fight for the right of the people of the country. So what tradition they have, we all know very well. Now they have the voice to talk all this type of thing, but we know very well that what history they have since the time of RSS, when Hindu Code Bill came into existence. They were the first one to protest across India against Ambedkar ji and the people. To protest him that this is not good. It has nothing to do correlation with
about a secular UCC now. What's the problem then?
Right?
Currently, the proposal is for a secular UCC, is it not? Is there a problem with that?
No, I'm not saying that there is a problem or not. I'm just saying that these are the people, when we talk about equal rights, these are the people who came in the protest of Hindu Code Bill. When we talk about those times.
Okay.
After independence, when we have Hindu Code Bill, they were the first one to oppose the equal rights of women.
Okay. Historically, the positions of RSS, BJP have been very different. Abhijit Iyer Mitra, that's what Tariq Khan is saying. And there's also the other argument that we've heard time and again, that if we have to have reform, then why not let it come from within the religion? Why force it down? That's another argument that's been talked about. Your response on those 2 points?
Quite the contrary. It was in fact these regressive trads like Karpatri Maharaj that were promoting the kind of different standards for different peoples that we see, including caste segregation and things. And the people in alliance with Karpatri Maharaj was Indira Gandhi. How LK Advani in fact refused to sit down and have dinner with Karpatri Maharaj and the people that were promoting all that nonsense. Sorry, this is just historical revisionism. It is complete nonsense. There is no such thing, nothing of the sort. In fact, you look at all the so-called trads, they are all sitting in the India Alliance camp. You've got one certain Shankaracharya who says, absolute casteist drivel he speaks, and then in the next sentence he goes and says, vote for Congress. And how is this the BJP's fault, boss? A question answer karne ke liye, there first has to be some historical fidelity to it. I can't answer a question that is based on outright lies.
Okay. Let's leave it there. Let's leave it there for the moment. Tuhin Sinha, Abhijit Iyer Mitra, Tehseen Poonawalla, Tariq Khan, certainly a debate on which we haven't heard the last word yet. It's bound to be a big issue, given, of course, the fact that we're also heading to elections. So how this will figure as far as the upcoming state elections are also something that we're going to watch out for. Thanks so much for joining us this evening, gentlemen. In fact, Tuhin, Abhijit Iyer Mitra and Tehseen Poonawalla stay with us for debate number 2 as well.